Hey everyone. In a moment that has taken both the church world and the broader entertainment community by storm, Bishop T.D. Jakes has finally broken his silence and, in a rare and emotional address, openly acknowledged the long-swirling rumors surrounding his daughter, a revelation that has left millions stunned, sparking new conversations about faith, family, redemption, and the challenges of being in the public eye when your personal life becomes everyone's business. For years, whispers have circulated around the Jakes family, particularly about Cora Jakes and the painful controversies that have occasionally surfaced concerning her marriage, ministry, and private struggles. Despite the speculation, Bishop Jakes has always maintained a dignified silence, choosing to protect his family and ministry from the noise of gossip. But recently, during what many assumed would be a routine Sunday service at the Potter's house, Bishop Jakes shocked the congregation and the online audience when he decided to address the matter head-on. The atmosphere was thick with tension and anticipation as he stood on the pulpit, visibly emotional, his voice carrying the weight of both a father and a leader. "There comes a time," he began, "when silence no longer heals, and truth, no matter how painful, must be spoken in love." Those words alone sent chills through the sanctuary as thousands leaned in, realizing that for the first time, he was ready to confront the rumors that had shadowed his daughter and, by extension, his entire family. He didn't dive into gossip or social media accusations, but he acknowledged that yes, the family had faced hardships, that mistakes were made, and that no one, not even those called to ministry, is immune to the storms of life. With humility and transparency, Jakes admitted that it had been one of the most painful seasons of his life as both a father and a pastor, watching his child endure judgment, misunderstanding, and personal battles while trying to uphold the expectations of the world. "People forget that preachers have families too," he said. "They forget that my children bleed, cry, and fall just like yours. They forget that the grace we preach about is not theoretical. It's something we have to live through every day." His words resonated deeply with parents everywhere, particularly those who have watched their children go through public struggles. But what truly captivated listeners was not just his acknowledgement of the rumors, but how he reframed them. Not as scandal, but as a testimony still in progress. He spoke about how God allows even leaders' families to walk through valleys so that they can understand the depth of his mercy and the complexity of his timing. Without naming names or rehashing old controversies, Bishop Jakes made it clear that the truth was simpler and far less sensational than what gossip blogs have portrayed. "I'm not here to defend what people think they know," he said. "I'm here to declare that my family is human, and we are healing." The audience erupted in applause and tears, many standing in solidarity as Jakes continued to speak about forgiveness, resilience, and the sacred responsibility of protecting one's loved ones while under spiritual attack. He admitted that the hardest part wasn't the rumors themselves, but the way they tested his faith and forced him to see the difference between public perception and divine purpose. "I've preached about grace for 40 years, he confessed, "but I didn't truly understand it until I had to extend it within my own home." That confession cut deep across generations, from older church members who admired his vulnerability to younger believers who saw it as a reminder that faith doesn't exempt anyone from pain. The sermon soon turned into a heart-to-heart moment where Jakes expressed immense love for his daughter, saying that despite everything, she remains one of his greatest joys and most powerful testimonies. He praised her for her strength, for facing her trials with dignity, and for continuing to pursue her relationship with God even when the world turned its back. "She is not her past, and neither are you," he declared, his voice breaking slightly as the congregation rose to their feet in an emotional standing ovation. Clips of that moment spread like wildfire across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, amassing millions of views within hours. Commenters flooded timelines with messages of support, respect, and admiration, saying it was the most powerful message they'd ever heard from Bishop Jakes. Others shared how his honesty reminded them that faith leaders are not immune to struggle, that transparency can heal more hearts than perfection ever could. But of course, not everyone responded with compassion. Some critics twisted his words, interpreting his emotional address as confirmation of old rumors or unresolved issues, trying once again to stir controversy. Yet, in classic Bishop Jakes fashion, he didn't take the bait. Instead, he doubled down on his message of spiritual maturity, later posting online that love covers, not hides, and that healing requires honesty, not humiliation. That post alone gained massive traction, with many seeing it as a direct response to years of speculations surrounding his family. What followed in the days after his address was something few expected, a nationwide wave of testimonies from other pastors and believers who said his words gave them courage to confront their own family challenges without shame. It also reignited discussion about the pressure placed on pastors' children, often expected to live flawlessly under the harsh scrutiny of church culture. Bishop Jakes' raw honesty exposed that tension beautifully, reminding everyone that even those raised in faith can lose their way or face dark seasons. But that redemption remains possible for all. He closed his message by saying, "If my family's pain becomes someone else's pathway to peace, then it was worth it." That line alone became a viral quote, circulating across Christian pages, sermons, and talk shows. In the following week, Cora herself reportedly shared a brief emotional response online, thanking her father for standing by her, saying that healing was happening and that she was choosing faith over fear. Though details remain private, one thing is clear. Bishop Jakes' decision to finally address the situation didn't bring division, but restoration. It reminded the world that the Jakes family, despite their prominence, are still just people walking out their faith day by day with grace and humility. And in doing so, Bishop T.D. Jakes not only silenced years of gossip, he turned pain into purpose, using his pulpit not as a place of defense, but as a platform of deliverance. What he did wasn't about clearing his family's name, it was about reclaiming their narrative. And in a world hungry for authenticity, that kind of courage is what keeps his voice, his ministry, and his legacy echoing louder than any rumor ever could. Thanks for watching.